This is new gear that I'm excited to use for the remainder of this year. What's going on, guys? My name is Dave and this channel is called Off Grid. I'm into backpacking, hiking, camping, and gear. If you like those things too, please think about subscribing down below and hitting that notification bell so that I can send you a video every time it comes out. I would greatly appreciate it and it really helps out the channel. So today's video was kind of interesting. I was really trying to think about what I was going to call it because the new gear for 2021 has long since passed, and now that we're pretty much halfway through the year already, I was like, well, how can I really say this without basically using that same title? But I have gotten a bunch of gear since the beginning of 2021, so I'm excited to try it out for the remainder of this year, and I wanted to tell you guys all about it, so here we go. So for one of the biggest items, let's just get this one out of the way real quick. It is my UGQ Bandit 20 degree top quilt. I did a first look on that quilt. I'll post it up on the cards right here for you guys to take a look at if you're interested in that. And I'm super excited to try out this quilt. I've already tried out this bag a couple of times this year, and I gotta say, so far the jury's still out. It's kind of a mixed bag. I'm really still just trying to get used to a quilt system over a sleeping bag system. It's the first quilt that I've ever owned, and I'm really just trying to figure out how best to sleep the warmest in it. I think ultimately I may have gotten a quilt that is a little bit too short for me, even though the recommendations said otherwise, but we'll talk about that in the future. Other than that, I think it's an incredibly comfortable bag, and with the pad straps clipped on just right and everything, it is really going to be interesting trying that out for the remainder of the year. I have a bunch of different tech specs and all the other stuff that I talked about is up in that video, so make sure you head on over and check out that video. I dive into everything that you want to know about that quilt, but super excited to try that one out for the remainder of this year. The next item that I'm going to get into is one of, I think, two items that I don't actually have here at my place of residence to show you guys today. And it's either because I'm waiting on it and it's kind of on its way in and I'm excited to get it in, or I left it somewhere else. So the first one that I don't have in front of me today, so I'm going to post some pictures or some B-roll up here, is the 3F UL backpack, and it is specifically their starting point backpack, and it is their pro version. So they actually have a couple of different versions of it. They have their original version, and they always come out with a pro version later. After a year or two, they end up like getting a bunch of feedback, and they end up doing a bunch of tweaks and tinkering different things and trying to make it better. So I decided to go with their pro backpack. I'm going to be doing a first look video of that backpack too, and getting into all the good tech specs and all that other kind of stuff in that video. So make sure that you're subscribed down below, like I mentioned, so that you can see when that video comes out. But I'm super excited to try that one. It's a frameless backpack. It's gonna be the first frameless style backpack that I'm gonna try out in the field. There's also a super budget friendly gear item too, so really excited to try out that backpack. The next gear item, sticking with the 3F UL family, I got it right over here somewhere. Nope, it's not on that side, it's on this side, is the Lanshan Pro 1 tent by 3F UL Gear. It actually says it like right here. I don't know if you can see that on the tag. I actually don't have any B-roll of this tent yet either. I still have to seam seal it. I just got it in not too long ago. I bought it off of AliExpress, I believe. There's a few different ways that you can purchase these tents. One is AliExpress, which is like the Amazon of China. There is Amazon on the US side where you can purchase it from. There's also 3F UL Gear's website, and actually, now that I think about it, I don't think that I got this from AliExpress. I think I got this right off of 3F UL Gear's website directly, and I selected a different color and it came in as the green color, so that's the first knock that I have on it. It's not the color that I ordered, but seeing it in real life, I actually don't mind the green color, so I'm going to stick with it. But I haven't set it up yet, and I haven't seam sealed it yet, but I am super excited to try it out in the field. This is a one-person tent that has a decent amount of room for me and my gear inside the tent, which I always like to have. And again, I'm going to be doing a first look and first impression on this tent in the near future, so be on the lookout for that one. But yeah, super excited to try out this tent. The next one that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be the Rebel Gearhounds string lights. It is basically a super lightweight type of illumination, I guess you could call it. I mean, they have many different names. I've seen them as like fairy lights on Amazon, and they come in a lot of different styles. What this basically is a USB powered LED set of lights. It's 30 feet long. It's a copper wire with some LEDs kind of like baked in here. But what I really liked about this one is it has a dimmer switch on it, which is really cool. So you can kind of adjust the brightness so that you're not sucking as much juice out of your battery bank when you're in the backcountry. But it's also one of the few ones that I was able to find that doesn't require some additional type of battery pack or something that you have to plug it into. So the fact that you can just plug this directly into your own battery pack, whichever one you bring out to the field, and it's not required to have AAAs or AA's or whatever to bring out with you, was really exciting for me. And again, only weighs 1.5 ounces. So instead of me bringing out a lantern or a separate piece of illumination, which I like to have in the backcountry, so I not only carry my headlamp with me when I'm out there, but I also like to have additional lights on when I'm out there. It's not that I'm scared of the woods. Well, who isn't afraid of the dark, you know, that old Nickelodeon show that you might have caught back in the day. But now I really dig these lights, and I'm super excited to try those out. I've actually tried these out car camping so far, and I really dig them. There's a couple caveats here and there, but for the most part, I really like them. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a first impression on those or an overall review video on those lights, but you know, really excited to try those out. The next section that I'm going to get into here is going to be basically all run by Mountain Hardwear. So if you haven't already guessed, and if you haven't seen by now, if you haven't guessed, I am a Mountain Hardwear fanboy, and I really like a lot of the gear that they have out there. And you know, I think for the most part I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed by them because of their listed weights that they end up posting on their websites, on other websites like REI, Backcountry, things like that. It's either missing from their base weights off of their main website, mountainhardwear.com, or it is listed incorrectly either on their website or on other websites, and I'll let you know what I mean in a hot second here. But the first one that I'm excited to try out is going to be right over here. Sorry to get out of frame. I've neatly rolled everything up. You know, you're a backpacker when you just start rolling everything. The first thing that I'm excited to try out here are the Basin Trek pants by Mountain Hardwear. So these are just really a simplistic style of pant. There's no like buttons or zips off to the side. They have a couple of pockets in the back here and a couple in the front. You don't have the cargo pockets and the zips on the sides either. So you know, if you're looking for a convertible pant that you can, you know, easily take on and off and convert into a pair of shorts, these are not really for you. I'm really trying to go with a different style this year and try out, you know, basically using longer sleeves for both my pants and my shirts, so I don't have to worry about lathering up with a bunch of sunscreen when I'm out there. I know that I'm going to be sweating buckets, but I'm going to try it out this year to see how it works for me for sun and bug protection when I'm out there. So I was really on the hunt for a lighter weight pant while I was out there that wasn't my traditional convertible pant, because my convertible pants weigh something like 12 ounces, so I was trying to get something that weighed less than that. And again, these pants, they were really hard to find out like what the actual weight was listed for online, but I think I saw on one website that it was like 4 ounces or something like that. I wasn't really gonna buy that, I wasn't gonna believe that, but I figured I'd just pull the trigger on one anyway. I got it on sale, and on my scale, I think this came in at somewhere around like 9.8 ounces. If I'm wrong, I'll throw it up on screen, but they're still lighter than the convertible pants that I have by at least or close to a few ounces anyway. So Mountain Hardwear Basin Trek pants, super excited to try those out, and they do feel really lightweight, and they do seem to have a decent amount of breathability, so I'm excited to try those out. Sticking along with the Mountain Hardwear train that we're on currently, next one I actually just just got this in today. This is the Mountain Hardwear Sun Hoodie, and it's called the Crater Lake Hoodie. Maybe you've seen a bunch of these style of hoodies. They're basically just a really lightweight polyester, like nylon type of blend. I'll show you the logo right here off to the side. Actually came in a couple of different styles. I got a few of these types of shirts, but they're super lightweight. This one weighs, I think, about 5.8 ounces, and my similar like polyester style t-shirts weigh in at just over 5 ounces anyway. So for the extra half ounce of weight, you're getting a hoodie and a long sleeve shirt. It also has the loops for your thumbs so that it can cover up your hand a little bit more. So again, kind of going along with that theme of trying to go with long sleeve everything to just try and cover up my face and my neck and my arms and my legs as much as possible to protect them from the sun. I think it has like a UPF of something like 50 on it. So, and like I said, it's super lightweight and it's very breathable. It's not gonna really keep you warm, but it does have that moisture wicking technology in it, so it should keep me relatively dry and dry up quickly when I'm sweating buckets in it, which I'm sure I'm going to. So I got 3 of those to test out, and I'm super excited to try those out. And again, going along with the bogus weights, I think I saw on 1 or 2 different websites that this thing weighed in the realm of 4 something ounces, and it wound up being closer to 6 ounces. So I'm a little bit ticked off about that one too, especially when, you know, everybody's thinking about their weights in their pack, and they're always trying to lighten their pack and lighten their load. So you know, getting those accurate reports really helps out with purchasing your gear. So the last thing that I have in the realm of Mountain Hardwear gear that I was super excited to try out is the Mountain Hardwear mid-layer that I got. So this one here is called the Gi Hoodie. It has a fleece lining to it in the middle here, and it has kind of like a two-tone color to it. I'm not sure if it's picking that up on camera, but we got like a green down here and then a black up here. And I really wanted to get like a decent mid-layer that had some nice warmth to it. And it's got the standard zips over here, and it's got, oh yeah, 1 zip right here in the front here too. So you can stash some smaller things. But I really wanted that mid layer that was going to keep me warm. I have another sort of mid layer, I'd more consider it a base layer from Mountain Hardwear that is sort of along the lines of the base layer of the Sun Hoodie that I just showed you, but it has a heavier weight to it. And I thought that was going to be good for a mid layer, but it really wasn't, because it was still mostly polyester. So this is a fleece style mid layer, and I gotta say, I've tried this a few times already, and it is decently warm if you're like in the 60s or something like that with a light to mid breeze when you're out there. So I like that it had the hood on it. It doesn't have a cinch around the hood, but I really liked the style of this. And again, going along with the bogus weights on their website, I think they had mentioned that it was somewhere around 7.65 ounces, somewhere around 7.5 ounces. And I just weighed it before this video, guys. It is 14.5 ounces. So they were off by close to half on the overall weight on that one. So maybe I'm not as much of a fanboy of Mountain Hardwear anymore, I don't know. But I really like the gear so far, and it has held up pretty great for me thus far. So I can't complain with the craftsmanship and the quality of their gear, but those listed weights are killing me. So instead, what I might end up doing is using that mid-layer just for car camping or other styles of camping, but for backcountry backpacking. I think what I'm going to end up doing is swapping that out for the REI merino wool base layer half zip. And that's not a hoodie. That's another one that I don't have here today to show you guys, so I'll post some pictures up on the screen for you guys to take a look at. I'm really excited to try that one out. I would kind of compare it to the Dragon Wool hoodie from Outdoor Vitals. It has a really long zip on it so that you can vent out quite a lot. I think the way that I'm gonna end up trying to wear it when I'm backpacking is using it over the top of the Sun hoodie here, and just kind of layering up, because it is merino wool, and You know, it's supposed to keep you cool when it's hot out, and it's supposed to give you that extra layer of warmth when it's colder out. So I'm gonna try to probably use that in conjunction with this hood, and then maybe another style of hood or something like that over the top of it from maybe Mountain Hardwear and their Ghost Whisperer, because I have one of those too. Yeah, the weight on that one is going to be closer to 8.5 ounces, which is much more mid-weight layer backpacking friendly. So I'm gonna stick with that mid layer from REI. I actually got that one on sale too, so I'm excited to try that one out. So out with the heavier fleece, and then in with, I guess it would be doubling up on base layers to try and layer up for the warmth on those colder days. So that's what I'm gonna go with my clothing system for the gear that I want to try out for the rest of the year. The next thing I'm gonna try out is going to be in the realm of your cook kit and your food system. So it's not this one here. This is the Toast Titanium Pot, but it's what's inside of it here. And I recently did a video on this one too. I'll post a link up in the cards for that one too. And that was my alcohol stove versus my gas canister stove, kind of doing a head-to-head. And I also did a speed test trial. I'll throw it up in the cards right here for the Jetboil stash, seeing if the Jetboil stash was worth it. So I did like the hard numbers on that one. I really enjoyed doing that video, so check that one out if you haven't seen that one already. This is my alcohol stove system. So far I've only been using my gas canister stove system, and I did a bunch of research on it. I'm super excited to try out my alcohol stove system. So I've got pretty much all Toaks. I'm a super Toaks fanboy too. I really like the Toaks Titanium products. I got the pot, 750 milliliter pot, which isn't new. But what is new is the Toaks Titanium alcohol stove and their burner. I got this tiny little cork coaster that's like 1/8 of an inch in thickness, super thin, but just to act as a heat barrier underneath the stove. I've got this windscreen, which is an aluminum windscreen by Vargo, to kind of put around the stove to not only act as a windscreen but also act as a pot stand for my Toaks pot. I've got just this cheap bottle with a little flip top that makes it easy for kind of squeezing out the alcohol and measuring that out. And then to light it all, instead of using a mini Bic, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but Bic also makes a mini Bic version with a wand at the top here. So I really like this one. It's a little bit difficult to push the button down because they don't really have some sort of child lock on it, but it does make it easier to kind of like reach over the windscreen, get into the alcohol stove, and light it without, torching your hands or your fingers. So that's it for my alcohol stove system. It's overall a lot lighter. It's going to save me more money in boiling my water for those dehydrated meals, and I'm excited to try that one out. All right, moving down the list, we got a few more, and then I'm going to throw in a bonus item at the end here. Moving on to the next item here. This is in the realm of firewood, collecting firewood, processing firewood. You may have seen these before too. This is a silky saw. I got this one, I think off of REI. I'm not sure, I don't think it was on sale, but this is, I think, a little bit over 6 ounces. The blade kind of folds out to about 7 inches, I think, total from the total length of the blade, and it has a couple of different positions here. It's got like kind of like an oblong style, and then kind of like a regular shape to it to saw through the wood. And these are becoming super popular. There are lighter versions of these types of saws, but this one seemed like it was pretty durable and that I could rely on this one. So it's definitely a little bit heavier option for backpacking. I would maybe stick to more of the car camping style with it, but on those nights where I really want to have a fire and I have to process firewood, if I am backpacking, that's going to be my go-to saw. And again, that's the silky saw. This is the F180, I believe. So it's one of the lighter ones that they have. They have longer ones too that are a little bit heavier, but that one seemed to be a pretty decent size to saw through those like medium to smaller style sticks and logs. So that's the silky saw that I'm going to be sticking with. The next gear item that I actually have used already. I haven't used the saw yet, but I've used this one. Where is it? Okay, it's over here. Got a lot of stuff just kind of like spread out all over the place here. This is the Sea to Summit Delta Insulated mug, and it is mostly made out of plastic. It's got this little sleeve here that you know, insulates the cup and keeps it warmer for your you know, hot chocolate, your coffees, your teas. And it's got a little vent at the top here, and then the wider mouth for you to drink out of. It's not super wide, but it's decent anyway. I've used this a few times, mostly car camping. I haven't used it backpacking yet, but I gotta say it holds up pretty well. And again, this is, I guess it would be considered a luxury item for some backpackers out there. A lot of guys will just end up putting some, you know, hot lips off to the side of the titanium pot and just drinking right out of this. But I wanted a separate style of mug. I didn't want to like have other stuff kind of like dirtying up my pot and having to, you know, clean it out with a wipe or something else. I just like to kind of use a microfiber to just, you know, dry that out and use a separate type of mug, and it definitely stays warmer with the insulation around it. Here's a pro tip for you guys. One of the most popular ones that are out there, a lot of YouTubers are talking about it, is the GSI mug, and that one is a little bit heavier than this one. This one only comes in at 2.8 ounces. I think the total capacity is 12 ounces, but holds, you know, 8 to 9 ounces, no problem in this one. And I really enjoy this one. It's lighter weight. It only costs about like $7 or something like that. So Sea to Summit Delta mug. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm really looking forward to using it for the rest of 2021. And the last one that I've got on the list, I'm cheating a little bit here. I bought this at the end of last year in 2020, but I didn't actually use it until this year in 2021. I've used it a few times now, and it is the Nemo Tensor. This is the long and wide version. I also did a first look on this video. I think it was like the third ever video that I put out. I'll post a link for that right up here as well for you guys to check out. I dive into the tech specs and all that kind of good stuff on this one. But I've got to say, I've had a tumultuous time with sleeping pads in the past, and this is one that you really don't want to save money on, guys. You really want to invest in a high quality and decent pad, and that again is the insulated version, and I'm loving it so far. So that's it for my huge list. I think I just counted it somewhere around like 12 total items that are brand new, or I haven't used yet, or I've only just used a few times, and I'm really excited to use for the rest of 2021. And I said I was going to throw in a bonus item here at the end, and it's actually on top of my head. This is the ADKTD hat from a local company here over in Santa Barbara. And you know, I'm from Ventura, so Santa Barbara is not too far north of me, about a half hour or so north of me, and I think they make some pretty cool and stylish hats. What do you guys think? This is just the California Bear logo, but I really dig this hat. I dig the quality and the craftsmanship of it, and it's just a really cool hat, so I'm really excited to wear this one out. I like the way that it looks on me. I like the way that it kind of like fits my head. Some hats kind of look a little bit bulky and bulbous and whatnot, so I really like the fit and the look of this hat, and I'm really excited to support a local business near my area, so definitely check those guys out. I'll post a link down in the description for those guys too, so definitely check those guys out if you want to help support them. There is actually a fun fact for you guys real quick at the end of the video here. There's another company here that I actually don't support, and their headquarters is actually in my hometown of Ventura. If you're not aware of it, it is Patagonia, and I don't wear them. A lot of people call them Patagucci, and I would have to agree. They are way too expensive, and they don't really have super competitive clothing for the weights of different types of clothing, so I don't really get into them that much. But definitely check out these guys. Again, it's ADKTD up in Santa Barbara. That's going to do it for me this week, guys. Thanks so much for hanging along with me with the new gear for 2021. I think I'm just going to label this video as like new gear that I'm excited to try out for the rest of the year. I'm not sure if I'm going to get any views off of that type of title, but thanks so much for hanging with me and checking out all this new gear that I'm super excited to try out. Let me know down below what you're excited to try out, what new pieces of gear that you got, not only for this year, but maybe you just got it recently and you're excited to try it for the rest of the year, or maybe some new gear that's going to be dropping later on this year that you might consider using for 2022. I want to know all about your new gear purchases and the gear that kind of gets you excited to get out there and go camp and go into the backcountry, do some backpacking, and really enjoy loving being out in the outdoors. I want to hear all about it. And again, I've got all the different links that I was posting up in the cards. I'm going to post them down in the description down below too. I'm going to have a couple of different links at the end of the video here that will probably be related to what I was talking about too. So if you really are interested in any of the other tech specs of the stuff that I said that I did previous videos on, make sure you head on over and check those out. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember, if you're headed off grid, make sure you do your research and you make it a safe one. I'll see you guys later.